Hey, what's going on, everybody? So Apple has released iOS 14.7. It took quite a bit of time to get this out, but hey, it's finally out. Now, along with this, they also released watchOS 7.6, HomePodOS 14.7, and tvOS 14.7. Now, they did not release iPadOS or a new version of macOS. Now, macOS is understandable. It takes, a little bit longer for that to actually get released. And the iPadOS was the interesting part because that's usually exactly the same, of course, as iOS, so they just released them at the same time. But today, as I'm recording this video, so literally like a day later, they released both Big Sur 11.5 and iPadOS 14.7. So in this video, we're just going to go over iOS 14.7 and talk about a little bit of iPadOS. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Okay, so there are several new features added here, and then there's a whole bunch of bug fix related items. Alright, so the first thing here is we now have support for the brand new MagSafe battery pack. So if you haven't seen this thing yet, it's a little battery pack, $100, and it works with any MagSafe enabled device. So basically all of the new iPhone 12 models. And basically how it works is it attaches via MagSafe, of course, on the back of your device, and it reverse wirelessly charges your iPhone. So it's a pretty cool little thing there. But yeah, 14.7 added support for this new battery pack. Next thing here has to do with Apple Card family. So Apple has been rolling out the Apple Card family stuff over the past few updates, and now we have the option to actually combine credit limits, so you can basically share one account with somebody else. So if there's an existing Apple Card user and you want to add somebody to your account, if you want to build credit together or just simply share an account, well, you can now do that within the Apple Card app using Apple Card family. Next thing here has to do with HomePod. So now you have the ability to manage your timers in your Home app for your HomePod. Now, as you can see, my HomePod has yet to actually update to 14.7. Just try and do it right now. But basically, what you do here is you just simply long press on there, and when you scroll down, above the actual software version, you'll now be able to manage your timers right here in this area. So it might be a little bit easier to actually see, how much time's left instead of asking your HomePod. Next up here has to do with your weather app. So in the weather app, of course, if you scroll down, you can see your air quality index right here. So it lets you know how healthy your air is in your area. Well, now this is going to be available in a few other countries. So it's going to include Canada, France, Italy, Netherlands, South Korea, and Spain. So if you care about your air quality, you want to know what it is, you can now view that here in your weather app if you're in one of those countries. Next thing has to do with the podcast app. Now, I don't typically use podcasts, so I can't really show you what this looks like. But now in podcasts, you have the ability to kind of sort things, either showing all of your shows or only your followed shows. So if you're actually subscribed to a podcast, you'll be able to see that separately instead of just all of the shows that you listen to. And as far as new features go, things that were added, that's pretty much it here for 14.7. So now let's jump into some of the bug fixes here. Okay, so the first one is there was an issue in Apple Music where your share playlist option menu may be missing. So that was not really showing up for some people. So that should be fixed now. Next thing was a pretty big issue in Apple Music. A lot of people I saw were complaining about this one. Was your Dolby Atmos and your Apple Music lossless audio was unexpectedly stopping. So you'd be listening to your music and it would just quit. So that was a pretty common problem. I know a lot of people were complaining about that one. So that should be good to go now. Next thing has to do with iPhone 11 models. So there was a battery service message on some people's devices, and after they would reboot their iPhone 11 models, it would not show the battery service message. So you would not be able to know if your battery had an issue. Well, now it will appear for you properly whenever your iPhone 11 reboots. And the final one here was an accessibility feature that wasn't working properly, so you actually have a Braille display, and the Braille display could show invalid information when you were composing mail messages. So they fixed that for those Braille users out there. So that's actually everything here iPhone wise. Now with iPadOS 14.7, the only difference that I could see is there was one more bug fix, and some people were saying this was for iPhones, but some people were saying that it's just iPad related. So on iPadOS 14.7 in the release notes, it actually says there was an issue when using USB-C to 3.5mm headphone jack adapters. So if you were using those, and obviously your iPad has to support that, of course, but there was a problem where audio could be skipping when you were using that certain adapter. And of course, the last thing here with all of Apple's updates is the security related fixes. So we have quite a few of them here in both iOS and iPadOS 14.7. Just kind of scroll through these a little bit here. I mean, you can see that it's always a ton, which is kind of scary, but at least they're actually fixing them, I guess. And this update also addresses the Wi-Fi bug. So there was that problem where if you joined a weirdly named Wi-Fi network that was malicious, it could really mess your day up. So they've addressed the Wi-Fi bug. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for 14.7. Again, it's crazy to see all these security updates, isn't it? That's just wild. But anyways, that's 14.7 on your iPhone and your iPad. Let me know what you guys think about this update in the comments down below. I'll have some more videos about the rest of the updates like watchOS and macOS here in the next day or so. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you on the next one.